Welcome to Mighty Morphin Ranger, the podcast where we watch an episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and subsequently we discuss what occurred on that episode. My name is Matthew.
Hi guys, I'm Michael.
And Sarah's back for another episode.
Greetings, everybody.
Welcome back, Sarah. Very excited to make some egg puns.
I am.
Because this week's episode is called...
The YOLK'S on You, which is episode number 33.
Yep.
Just in case you're following along and watching the episodes at home, which I hope you are, because I've been told that that's the fun way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we are... I guess I've never experienced it not having watched the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real crack up if you want to have a go watching it. Crack up.
Are you going to be doing egg puns all episode?
Maybe.
It's okay, it's okay if the answer's yes.
Exactly. No, I won't.
It's not going to be any worse than the episode title or anything.
I'll get it out of my system now and then...
It's definitely going to be an egg monster, isn't it?
I hope so.
I
but
feel
then, like last week, we'll kind of let us down in that respect, so...
But I feel like once you do the yolks on you, it's either an egg or a chicken, and we've had a chicken.
We have had chicken.
It could be just like a Balkan skull egg disaster.
Oh, there will definitely be yolk on them. No question about it.
Yeah. I reckon it could be a Balkan skull gag.
Yeah. Our website is www.rangerdangerpodcast.com. You can send us an email at rangerdangerpodcast@gmail.com, and we'd really encourage you to do it. Questions, anything, we love it. We're at RangerDcast on Twitter. We're also on Facebook, iTunes, and YouTube, where you can subscribe to the show, as well as iTunes.
Yes, and while we got you here, this is the last week for you to fill out our Ranger Danger 6-month survey.
Yeah.
We'll be picking a winner at the end of the week, assuming we have someone who's filled out the survey. You can win our Ranger Danger Valentines signed by us and some of our guests.
Valentine's Day cards, we should specify. We will not be sending you paramours.
Oh, yeah, we're not sending you people. I think they could have...
Contravened some laws, yeah.
Plus a mystery gift.
Yeah. Ooh, mystery. I haven't picked one out yet.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
All of that.
I promise it'll be at least tangentially Power Rangers related.
Yeah, that seems fair. I mean, yeah.
That's the theme of the show, I guess.
But so, yeah, that information will help us make a better show, and it'll help us make you enjoy it more, hopefully.
Yeah, as we said before, we want to make the show you want to listen to. So any feedback you can give us through the survey would be extremely helpful and help us sort of tailor it to your wishes.
Yeah, so if you could, there'll be a link in the show notes or on the Facebook or on the YouTube.
We'll shove it down your throat wherever and however
If
we
you
can.
can't find it, tweet at us or email us or send us a message, and we basically...
We'll bring a laptop to you personally so you can fill out the survey.
Provided you work with one of us already. Or something equally convenient. If you happen to work on George Street in the city, I can probably wrangle it. So we had a kind of a listener question that I'd like to tackle this week.
Yes.
Would Marrickville count? This is from Kevin. Kevin's a friend of the show.
Yeah, and an excellent trivia host.
Yes, and his question was, would Marrickville Council, which if you're not in Sydney is just a local city council, benefit from turning their rangers into Power Rangers? What is the cost of Power Ranger training to the taxpayer?
Okay, so that's a two-part question.
Yes.
Before we get to that, though, I should mention that the reason this show is called Ranger Danger
is because it rhymes.
Well, there's that. But I was driving with my dad one day, and he saw a parking inspector and used the phrase Ranger Danger.
Right.
And this was as we were talking about doing the Power Rangers podcast. So I was like, there it is.
Because I remember we had some pretty terrible suggestions.
I can't even remember what they were.
No, but I'm sure I could find them because I'm sure they're all on Facebook chat or something, but they were not great.
Yeah. So, you have parking rangers to blame for parking fines, but also the title of the show. So,
I did not know that story.
I didn't know that story either.
Wow, thanks.
We all
Dad.
have learned something new today.
Yeah.
So there have been several sets of Power Rangers who have been supported by private organisations.
Yeah, as well as government organisations.
Yes. Lightspeed Rescue are... I don't know if they're a private or a government body.
I can't remember.
But
I believe it's government.
They're funded by kind of a think tank type deal.
Yeah.
Who else?
I'm not too familiar with the later seasons.
SPD are like space police, so they're backed by
Space Police Delta.
I think it's Space Patrol, but they're supported by a police body. I'm pretty sure there are some others.
Well, I think that is categorical proof that it's a financially sound plan.
You mean because there would have to have been some sort of budgeting and...
Yeah, I mean, we've
wouldn't have
seen it
happened
on the Power Ranger documentaries, that it's a feasible financial model.
The Time Force Rangers are from the future, but run by a government crime body.
Okay. Well, I'd like to say up front that I think if in any situation you can make your officials Power Rangers, you absolutely should do that. But I can't think of anything specific Power Ranger abilities would do to help out parking rangers.
No, short of defending against horrible monsters. But
Well, maybe they could just make them more amiable. People wouldn't hate on them so much if
they could pull out a gun sword and destroy you with
Yeah, maybe. They wouldn't, argue back.
And I think the Power Rangers very often have cool motorbikes.
That's true.
So that would be cool for parking rangers to have.
Zip around the city.
Yeah.
I feel like it is overpowering a parking ranger slightly.
Yeah, I definitely think there's some force issues involved. In the same way that, we don't want transit officers to have guns.
Yes.
Or at least most people don't. I don't really want my parking officers to have Mastodon Zords.
No. It just creates too much room for abuse of power.
That's right.
Operation Overdrive are funded by a lone billionaire as well.
Really?
Yeah. So yes, I think it would have benefits, but I also think there would be some major downsides that would need to be considered.
And it would be a bit of a cost for that. I think
Yeah.
if we're being realistic, there's probably not a Zord budget in the Marrickville Council ledger.
Yes. I mean, I don't know how much money the Marrickville Council pulls in.
Well, that's right. We don't have the figures in front of us.
I'd be willing to estimate that a Megazord is in the billions of dollars range.
Certainly high millions.
Yeah, so I think that's probably... Do you think Bill Gates has enough money that he could build a Megazord?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, he'd probably have to stop giving money to charities.
Yeah, but then we'd have a Megazord. I mean, win-win, right? Imagine how many jobs it would create just in the construction alone.
There would be a lot, that's fair. And in research and development.
Yep.
We'd have to figure out how to make that happen.
Combining vehicles. I'm going to send Bill an email.
There would be a very awkward day two after the project is complete. Being okay, what do we do with this thing now?
Well, clearly the next thing is we fund research into moon witches.
You'd have to invent Rita Repulsa.
I do, however, feel like it would be the best TED Talk of all time. Guys, this is how we made the Megazord. You get 3 minutes and we just run through it. You just show 3 minutes of Power Rangers. That'd be it.
I'd love to see the day after as well with them, Bill Gates getting the 10 smartest people in the room and then going, okay, guys, how do we get a moon witch? And then so you get let's break down what a moon witch is. Can we create one? Do we have to find one? What possible universe could a moon witch exist in?
I'm worried about the amount of thought that you've put into this, frankly.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost in thought now.
Okay. So okay, I guess we're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna go watch The Yolk's on You, and it is going to be excellent. That's right.
Thank you for your question, Kevin, by the way.
Yes, thank you, and we hope we've answered it, if
your
not
liking.
sufficiently, then humorously. And okay, so we're going to go watch episode 33. We'll be back in a sec, and we'll see you there.
And we're back. We just watched episode number 33.
33.
The Yolk's on You.
Yep.
And the yolk really wasn't on anyone this episode.
There was far fewer eggs than I expected.
Although the word egg was said about 50,000 times.
But I think we'll get to that. So we open at the youth centre.
Yeah.
Where there's a talent show. There must be some sort of arrangement between the school and the youth centre.
Because all of
the school's extracurricular activities happen there. I mean, I know when I was in primary school, we used to go down to the YMCA for like
Stuff.
sport, gymnastic stuff.
Yeah.
So presumably there's some sort of agreement that they like rent out the hall or something, I guess. Mr. Kaplan's there. It's been a while since we saw him.
It is. And the first thing that I saw in this scene, what my eyes were drawn to, was a gymnast wearing slippers that were like dinosaur feet.
Really?
I have to say I did not notice that.
It
And
was-
I'm
it was in, like,
disappointed
a crowd-
you didn't make us pause to have a look.
It was in like a crowd scene, and I just had to wonder, what is her talent? Is it doing like gymnast stuff with dinosaur feet?
Is it possible that she's just wearing slippers because it's cold? And
Possibly.
her talent is gymnastics. Like, I don't think her talent is rah, I'm Gojira, rah. Although maybe it is. I don't
That
know.
would be in bad taste in Angel Grove.
A city constantly racked by giant monster
Yeah.
attacks. Yes.
Yeah, they must have some sort of like psychological epidemic from the weekly scares that everybody gets.
I think so.
Definitely there would be some issues.
Some fallout, yeah.
So,
So it's a talent show.
yeah, it's a talent show. Tommy and Jason are going to do some sort of karate routine.
Of course.
But Tommy left their belts behind. So,
Well, there's someone else who looks like he's going to be in the talent show in the group. 'Cause
he's
wearing-
all dressed up, isn't he?
He's wearing an outfit, and that
With
is
no place to go.
Mr. Billy,
Yep.
who's wearing a cowboy hat
Yep.
and some sort of cowboy shirt.
But it appears to just be the thing that he's wearing today.
We at least never see any sort of talent performance.
No.
So either he's just in a cowboy mood, as I guess sometimes you are,
You know, it was the early 90s.
or he had some sort of cowboy routine that we didn't see.
Yeah.
It doesn't really seem to play to Billy's skill sets, but I don't want to like stereotype anyone. Maybe he's really good at rodeoing things.
It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I was waiting for something
reading.
amazing.
But no. So, Tommy's forgotten their belts.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason's like, dude, doesn't matter, we can do it without the belts. And Tommy's like, no, we have to have the belts. Okay, I am running home and I'm getting the belts.
He's very firm on it too.
Yeah, there's no...
There's no like, oh, it's alright, mate. I'll go get him.
Yeah.
I have to have these.
And it's not like the Angel Grove Youth Centre where we regularly see karate groups has like a spare belt that they could borrow. He has to go all the way home.
But they're their belts that happen to be the same colour as the mysterious Power Rangers.
So it's Rita's birthday.
Yep.
And she said something to Finster.
Yep.
And Finster's decided that to celebrate, he's going to make her a monster and send it down
Yep.
on her behalf. And we don't really see what the monster is yet. But it's some sort of fanged monster. It's not an egg monster, which is what we're all expecting.
Yep.
So then we get Bulk and Skull again.
Mm-hmm.
Backstage at the
Talent
show.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, also not explained, there's a bowl of boiled eggs.
Yep.
There's a bowl of
Because
them
Bulk
backstage.
says, I smell boiled eggs.
He says, eggs, eggs, eggs. Like, boiled eggs is something that, you want to seek out.
What do boiled eggs smell like? They're all very nice smelling.
They smell like eggs.
Yeah.
Like, you know that really strong eggy smell?
They're not like something that, I don't know, I'm vegan, so like I'm probably a bit biased, but that's not something that I would
No,
crave.
look, I
food that
happily eat animals, and the smell of eggs,
doesn't do it,
doesn't
for
do
you.
it for me.
Yeah.
But his eyes light up.
Yep.
He is so
Because
excited.
there's a full bowl of eggs.
And he looks like he's about to go to town.
The drool is glistening. Yeah, he is. Looking at those eggs.
But so, I mean, look, there's not a lot of meat to this. They encounter Mr. Kaplan. Skull picks up a pair of cymbals, smashes them.
They claim to be checking their instruments.
Yeah.
Mr. Kaplan's toupee flies off because that's the one joke that he has.
Yeah, the sound of the cymbals is so great.
There's a reason we don't see him very often, and that's that he has one joke,
Yeah.
and it's not very good.
Yeah.
And most of the time we can really do with that. To be honest, this episode could have done without him pretty comfortably.
At this stage, the same is true of Bulk of the Skull, but they keep trotting those guys out.
That's true, but Bulk and Skull are in the opening credits.
That's
They're
true.
series regulars, right?
They have to be.
They have to be here, yeah. So we get a shot that's just Tommy running through the woods,
This is the best shot.
and he kind of takes a quick break to do a spin kick.
He jump kicks a leaf.
And then just keeps going. Like,
He's so pumped up to be running through the forest.
if he wasn't so good at karate, he would absolutely be that kid who everybody went to school with, who was constantly doing karate at the air and thought he was super cool ninja.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, he is incredibly talented at his martial art, and that makes it less ridiculous.
Maybe that's why he's good, is because he stops to kick leaves.
That's true. I've never stopped to jump kick a leaf, and I'm hopeless at karate. So
The data suggests
that's
there's a correlation.
certainly, if I had to draw a point between those two lines, it would definitely suggest
Maybe this is like the Power Rangers trying to get a moral across, like practice your art.
jump while you're running. Just kick leaves. Kick leaves. Leaves are monsters. Kick them.
It's like the complete antithesis of Captain Planet, which is also airing around this time.
Which is love leaves. Love leaves. Kick Hitler, but love the leaves. So Rita sends that basically this monster, who we've only really seen running a bit so far,
Yeah.
her plan is to use him somehow.
Yeah.
So Tommy is going to disturb that because he's in that area and something's going to happen. So she sends some putties down to distract Tommy. They do a bit of the old 1-2 putty fight. One of the putties grabs his morpher.
No, he's
Not his morpher, sorry, his communicator.
Yeah.
Runs around. Look, it looks like they run into a separate area, but it's clearly the same area with the same tree that they've just left and entered from the other side. At which point, Tommy chases him straight into like a net trap that hoists him into the air, and as he does that, his morpher falls out as well. So
This one I was thinking, wow, these putties are just about the smartest putties ever.
that's certainly
By putty standards, like you manage to steal the communicator, lure Tommy away with it, and lure him to a specific spot, which is about 20 times smarter than any putty we've seen so far.
It was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I have a question.
Mm.
If they have the morpher with the green coin in it,
Yes.
could anybody morph into the Green Ranger?
I had this note down as well. I don't know. I think it's suggested at some point that there's some connection between the morpher and the person that's created. So I don't think like that putty could
become a Green Ranger.
Yeah, could have found the button and
It's really hard to play the dragon flute when all you can do is.
so like,
Did you find that whole scene? I mean, I haven't seen as many episodes as you guys obviously, but it was particularly choreographed. Like the putties were doing, cartwheels in unison and things like that. Like it almost looked more like dancing
it's
than it
interesting,
normally does.
This is always the way it is, but for some reason I as well was like, wow, it's really obvious that Tommy's kicking around them, not at them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was one shot in particular that felt like the blow was not going to come anywhere close to connecting.
Yeah.
It's like the Force kick. Have you seen the Force kick from Return of the Jedi? Where Mark Hamill does a kick and the stuntman falls back. But clearly they thought the angle was going to be like behind the stuntman, so it doesn't matter how close it is.
Yeah.
And he's like 30 centimetres away doing a kick in the air. So the people who feel like a need for everything to have happened for an in-universe reason have decided that clearly Luke is using the Force as he's kicking. And so it's like it's not just a regular kick, it's a Force kick.
Yeah.
We'll make sure there's a link to a video I give in the show notes for those of you who haven't seen the Force kick.
Yeah, I'll see this now.
So, yeah, that's it. And this is where we get an introduction to the monster.
Fang.
Who is called Fang. There's no easy way for me to say this. Fang is racist. I don't mean like he's not comfortable with black people. I mean he is a caricature.
A caricature?
Yes, he is a racist caricature. His accent is... Imagine a stereotypical Latino accent. That's what he sounds like this whole episode.
He's the smallest point of difference away from Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah, barely vaguely. The only thing he cares about is something called ghoulie bird eggs,
Which I spent the whole episode trying to figure out what he's saying, expecting it was a thing.
Oh,
It was
no.
supposed to be
No. It's not like a thing that is real.
No.
It's a made-up thing.
Yeah.
And he talks like, Duet, my Gullivert egg. I've been doing that accent very well all night, and that one just then was terrible. So I'm not going to try it again.
Which is, it's perplexing because all of the other monsters that Finch has created serve Rita
Yeah.
without question. But for some reason,
This one
has an obsession with these eggs
Duet, my Gullivert eggs.
and will not fight the
That's
Power
it.
Rangers until he's convinced that doing
They
so,
have the Gullivert eggs.
or if he defeats Power Rangers, Rita will give him some
Yeah.
more.
Gullivert eggs.
Okay, thank you.
What I have a question. When they get created from putty and sent down, like, they're a new thing, right? Like, they
Yes.
just got made. Like, how can he have a desire? This makes me wonder, like, you know, they have a consciousness and, you know, maybe they should be set free and, you know, where did this egg thing come from?
I did get me thinking during the Megazord fight that I thought you might like this a little more than other episodes because the Power Rangers do, for a brief moment,
do.
try and reason with him. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we're not your enemies.
But spoilers,
I
guys,
like-
it ends with them blowing him to smithereens, okay?
Yeah, he was clearly a distressed being, and they were trying to reason with him. I liked that moment. That was.
And then they
something
got
that I
into the
appreciated.
biggest gun that they had and shot him into pieces.
Yeah, that happened.
But so Squat and Babu and Goldar go down,
Yeah,
and Squat and Babu break the Goonie Bird eggs
yeah.
and drink the, like, I guess the yolk.
Guzzle their juices.
It
Foul.
looks disgusting. But so they do that, and then Fang comes up and he says, "Duet, my Goonie Bird egg." And so, Jesus Christ. So he's like, you know, those were his, and they basically say tough shit.
Whatever.
And
This
it's
is literally crying. Like, he's
Yeah.
very, very upset about his eggs.
so at this point we cut back to the youth centre, and we see Bulk is playing a little bit of guitar.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, if he decided that was the thing he was going to be good at instead of karate, maybe he wouldn't constantly have Tommy showing him up.
Or literally everyone showing him.
Well, that's also true.
Is this the scene where they're facing each other really closely and they're both playing guitar, Bulk and Skull?
They are rehearsing
They're
quite
rehearsing.
close. Yes.
Yeah, very close.
Good news is no goop this week, guys.
Yeah, that's exciting. Very odd considering that eggs are the theme of the
The
episode.
episode is called "The Yolk's on You," and Bulk doesn't get anything on his face. I mean, that's a miracle.
Look, I'm very thankful.
Yeah, yes. So the Power Rangers teleport to the command center,
Yeah.
and Zordon says, "Look, there's this Fang monster, right?
I love your Zordons. Your Zordon recaps are always Zordon be like, alright guys, here's the deal.
There's this Fang monster. Also, Tommy is trapped by two putties in a net, right? And they say, like, can we go save Tommy? No, you have to deal with Fang, and then you can rescue Tommy. Tommy can look after himself. He's an adult. Just leave. He's not, but anyway. Just going and saving Tommy would take maybe 3 seconds. There's two putties there guarding him.
There's 5 Power Rangers.
Right.
They've got that.
They would definitely take care of that, but no, they have to go worry about Fang. So Goldar tells Fang that the Rangers have more Goonie Bird eggs, right?
Sounds legit.
and so he has to defeat them to get them. Right? Solid plan on Goldar's part, right? So Fang fights them for a bit, throws some rocks at them. They go off a cliff.
So he picks up a rock, throws it, picks up a rock, throws it, picks up a rock, throws it, and then they all
Like a barrage of rocks go.
hit them all at the same time.
Yeah.
But this isn't a Power Ranger specific problem.
Right.
In the Daredevil superhero film,
Yes.
starring Ben Affleck, there's a scene where Bullseye grabs a big pile of glass,
Yep.
spins around and throws them all in one go at Daredevil. And then they gradually spin at Daredevil individually so he can flip over them one by one.
I mean, I feel like throwing a big pile of glass all at once is not the... Look, if we're going to be discussing problems with Daredevil, I think we'll be here for much longer than we need to be.
I think the director's cut's not a bad film.
I think it's not a great film, though,
it's
either.
not a great film.
So anyway, they go flying off a cliff, and Rita appears.
Yes.
And she uses her staff to recreate the Goonie bird eggs and then destroy the Goonie bird eggs.
Such a dick move.
And she basically says to Fang, look, I can give you as many Goonie bird eggs as you want. I can bring these ones back. I can do all sorts of magic things. But you have to destroy the Power Rangers. I'm not quite sure why she feels the need to be involved. Goldar had basically already said, if you want more eggs, you got to destroy the Rangers. And he was doing it.
Well, I think it's because Rita has a massive ego. That's what it is.
That's true. She saw that it was going well.
Yeah, just in case it worked, she had to have a
She had to be able to say, yes, I did this.
Yeah. But it was exciting to see Rita do some magic with her staff that wasn't making it explode.
Yep.
Like that hardly ever happens.
Yeah, I've said multiple times, when Rita does actual magic, it's the most compelling thing she does.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's like, oh, she's actually a threat. But it's usually over very quickly.
So she makes the monster grow, as per usual. We get the extended version of the Megazord sequence.
The time-filling Megazord sequence.
With the battle mode, we have to make it into standy-uppy mode.
We need a long shot of the Mastodon blowing stuff out of its nose. Yeah.
I think, and that was probably the first time I've seen the whole...
Oh, really? The whole thing?
Yeah. Which was, probably interesting because it was the first time, but I hear that you have heard this before, seen this before. It sounded a little worn.
Definitely, I would rather not see the whole thing
again and again.
every time, just because it's unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Once they summon the Megazord, might as well just cut straight to the Megazord because we all know what's going to happen. And then so they fight him for a while
while he's screaming for eggs.
Goonie bird egg. And they do try to reason with him. They do say, Rita lied to you. We don't have any goddamn Goonie bird eggs. But he's having none of it.
No.
He's got harpoons on his hands. He's doing a pretty good job of beating up the Megazord.
Yeah, it's strange because there's nothing explicit about why these monsters aren't stronger than any of the others.
Yes.
It's pretty confidently beating the Megazord up.
Yep, so. And the Megazord goes to the ground.
Yeah.
At which point we get probably too long of Jason going, I wish Tommy was here. If Tommy was here, he could help. Tommy, where are you, Tommy? He's so dreamy.
And I think it doesn't work as well because the only way that they can emote his character at all is sort of by bobbing him up and down.
Yes.
So he
doesn't even have his hands
there's
stacked with.
nothing. Yeah, so he's just sort of bobbing around the cockpit.
So to speak. So then we go back to Tommy in the net. He's managed to climb out of the net, and he does a double Assassin's Creed assassination to the two of them.
Without the blades.
Without the blades, obviously. It's pretty quick. He grabs his morpher and his communicator, at which point he can hear Jason going, Tommy!
Where are you?
Yeah. So he summons the Dragonzord. The Dragonzord gets some one-on-one fighty action. Oh, I forgot to mention that at this point, Fang is threatening to destroy the dam.
Yeah.
Which the consequences are never spelled out, but presumably floods part of Angel Grove and...
At least a forest.
Is a major deal.
Yeah. It's interesting because there's a real-life shot of the dam.
Yes.
And then there's a cut to a miniature version of the dam. But... as far as I know, we never see him attack the miniature version of the dam. So it's they made a miniature version.
Well, no, the miniature version is in the foreground in the Dragonzord fight.
Oh, is that
in the fight we're about to get to.
I missed that.
There's a big blue watery bit.
Right.
So it is kind of there.
Okay.
And so we get that fight, and then it was about at this point that I lost any hope that they were going to negotiate with him and he was going to leave peacefully. And so they summon the Mega Dragonzord? Or no.
Dragonzord Ultra Mode.
Maybe.
I think.
Which is the one where it wears the Dragonzord.
No.
They do the battle... That's right.
Yeah.
They do the battle mode for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then decide to go straight to the Ultrazord.
Yeah, so which involves them disengaging that Dragonzord.
Reforming the Megazord.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
getting Dragonzord back to make the light coat.
Yeah.
I did not realise there were so many versions.
It's hard to keep track of.
There's the Megazord and the Dragonzord. And then there's the Dragonzord battle mode.
Ultra mode, I think it is.
Dragonzord something mode. Which is the Dragonzord with parts of the Megazord, some of the Zords.
Right.
And it fights with the Tyrannosaurus Zord separate.
Right, okay.
And then there's the one that's the Megazord wearing the Dragonzord. And then that gets into Titanus, and that's the Ultrazord.
Whoa, okay.
It's complicated, and in this fight, it seemed
complex.
exceptionally unnecessary.
The problem is we see the Megazord disassemble to form the Dragonzord Ultra mode.
Yeah.
And then that disassembles to reform the Megazord so the Dragonzord can go onto it.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
It gets needlessly complicated.
And then...
They get out Titanus.
Yep.
I have a question. Do you think it was Titanus in the Sentai footage?
Why?
Because we see the exact same shot of Titanus as we always do, and then we just see the monster exploding, and there's no explicit connection between those two things.
I mean, look, it's certainly possible that it wasn't, but it's also possible that the Japanese footage was that lazy and just has that one shot of Titanus. And so the Ultrazord just blows it to bits.
I used to love the Ultrazord when I was a kid.
It's not that great, is it?
Now it's just like it has one thing that it does.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a very boring way to finish
Even
that.
like the Megazord is cool because the Zords come together.
Yeah.
The one where it wears the Dragonzord,
Yeah.
it's not. None of them are as good as just the Megazord and the Dragonzord.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is. They will get different.
They will get different.
We have surprisingly little time left. We're more than halfway through this Megazord.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So, for something that's so iconic,
Well, the next one's my personal favourite of all movies.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited.
it's pretty good. And Jason says, "Guess we took care of you, frog face." Which, I mean, I guess he doesn't know that, it was a
Fang
naive creature being misled.
Yeah.
But...
Seems a bit mean.
Yeah, it seems a bit over the top for them to have given... It'd be like if James Bond accidentally shot a waiter as part of his adventures and then still did the one-liner. He doesn't know that he shot the wrong guy. But
How's that for poor service?
maybe don't make him brag about it.
It is pretty tragic.
Yeah. All he wanted was his Gunipo there. So... That's that. Straight back to the talent show. So fast that they don't even have time to tell Zordon what happened. Because they're communicating with Zordon as they go back.
Which is strange that they have to keep doing that because he sees literally everything all the time.
Yep.
So they don't really need to update him on anything.
Maybe he doesn't like to watch them while they're doing their thing, in case they get performance anxiety. So... Tommy and Jason do some karate.
Yeah, Ernie introduces them, and it's the first time I've ever realised that Ernie is so New York for someone who lives in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what he says. I should have written it down.
I'm walking here.
Yeah, basically. He's basically like, it's Tommy and Jason, all right? It's pretty great, but it seems out of place.
Yeah. There's not much about this show that seems in place, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they do some karate. It's very impressive. They break some boards on some cinder blocks. They're two guys who are good at martial arts. I mean...
Yeah, they're legitimately good, which I guess is wonderful.
It's not a particularly impressive routine that we get out of them. It's not as good as their Team Ninja one.
No, but the interplay between them is cool.
Yeah.
Like when they're kicking under each other, and I think it requires a fair bit of trust.
Yeah. But that's basically it. They've shown their talent. That's it. I mean, I feel like they're basically doing that every afternoon.
Yeah, I feel like there's an excuse for them to do karate at the school.
I don't know that there's many people at Angel Grove who haven't seen them do it yet. They feel like, those kids at your high school talent show who, everyone knows that they're the best at guitar, piano or whatever. They're the school pianist, but they still have to get up and do a thing.
Yeah.
they're like, oh yeah, I get they're doing karate again. Let someone else out. Let Billy do his cowboy act.
Yeah, because even there was a moment where he's like staring nervously, you know, while the rest are talking like on their communicator. He's staring nervously into the crowd, and like it really is building up for his big moment on stage.
Nothing
Moment in the spotlight.
There's not even a reference to the possibility that he might have had something.
No comment to the cowboy hat either. It's just there.
Nothing.
You know, he's just feeling it today. Bulk and Skull's act
Yeah.
somehow miraculously does not end up with them with egg on their face.
No.
I mean, metaphorically, kind of,
Yeah.
but not physically goop, which is nice for us. Frankly, after last week, it's the least this show could do.
It's refreshing. Yeah.
Basically, they have a band where they play a song that I would imagine is called Bulk and Skull, because that seems to be all of the words.
They're basically the American version of Rush. Was my interpretation of the music.
Rush are Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just lots of loud guitar and drums.
Very fast.
It lasts for about 30 seconds before they both collapse.
Yeah. Skull's wearing what looks to be like a monocle, but a sunglasses
Yes,
monocle.
it's like an eye patch sunglass monocle. It's
Like, at least the costume department are having fun.
yeah,
You know, like they're not doing anything well, but they seem to be having a good time.
They're having a laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
I mean, isn't that all that counts?
Yeah.
When did Bulk's hair get so long? He has like shoulder length hair all the
He's
time.
probably got a wig. Oh, he
I
normally has it
wondered.
back in like a
Ponytail. Yeah.
ponytail. So
It looked very full though. I wondered if it was a wig.
Yeah, no, it might just be his hair. Because, you're right.
He
He
has
does usually
beautiful
have...
hair then.
you should send him a letter.
Yeah.
I think
Compliment his
20
hair.
years ago,
Hey,
you had lovely hair.
Oh. Yeah, so they do a terrible song.
But that's not really
that bad.
it's not embarrassing.
No.
Like, it's just not
It's not
great.
great.
Yeah.
But like,
Well, I think that's about high school level musicians.
yeah,
really.
we had a band at my high school called Malfunction. Hi guys, if you're listening.
Love your work.
Look, when I was in high school, they were the shit, right?
Okay.
Looking back on Malfunction, but they weren't worse than that. You know, that's about that level. They're teenage boys. They like being loud and angry. It's not so much about.
I guess it makes for a bad comparison when your brother is a legitimately talented musician.
Well, that's true, I suppose.
Damn you, Timothy.
We'll have him on the show again soon, I think.
Yeah, we should.
But so yeah, that's this episode.
Yeah.
There's so many less eggs than I was expecting.
But more puns. Did you guys notice there were, well, including the title, 3 puns?
Give them to us.
Okay, so there was YOLK'S on You, obviously, that was
Yep.
the title. But there was also the rock moment where Fang is throwing all his rocks. I don't know whether it's one of the baddies goes, "You rock," to Fang. And then there's also a moment. There's also a moment when the Rangers are looking at Tommy through their communicator or whatever.
On the viewing
Like,
globe,
yeah, seeing that he's trapped. One of them says he's in a
all-
real bind because he's in a net. So there you go, guys. Just in case you missed the puns.
Look,
Thank you.
people who
You're welcome.
know me know that I'm big on a terrible pun, and even I think those are dreadful.
They're trying.
I'm pretty sure
Very trying.
Jason made an excellent pun in the Megazord at some point.
But it may not even have been a pun.
Yeah.
He may not even have been aware.
It's a mistake. Well, look, you know, a lot of this is mistakes.
that feels unnecessarily harsh.
No, I think that's earned.
Sorry. No, I love it, guys.
Okay, so that was the YOLK'S on You.
That was.
Matt, do you know which episode is next week?
Yes, the Green Candle Part
Yes.
1. That's exciting. I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay.
Finally an event episode. Because I know it happens vaguely in Power Rangers. I also know the significance in Japanese footage, which we've discussed a bit on the show before.
Yep.
So it's kind of a big moment.
Yeah, I'm excited to get to talk about it a bit. And
Yeah.
so we'll see you guys next week.
For the Green
Again,
Candle Part 1.
please remember to fill out the survey. This week is your last week before we draw a winner. And you do want to win because your prize will be pretty nifty, one of a kind.
Plus, you want to contribute to the show.
Yeah,
That's true.
Show your support.
Remember all the places you can find us. get in touch if you've got something to say. If you've got a great egg pun, shoot it over.
to us.
Well, send it to me.
Send it. Just address the email or the tweet to Sarah,
Yeah,
and we'll make
Sarah, and
we'll make sure it gets to her.
Thank you in advance.
So thank you guys very much for listening.
Hopefully
And,
we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you guys.